Good morning. Okay, why don't we call a roll?
Representative Howard, Mr. Lawson,
Yes.
Dr. Morris,
Present.
Mr. Smith,
Here.
advisory member Michael Green. We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Why don't we begin our meeting? Good morning, Mr. Smith and staff. Okay, adoption of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
The move.
I'll second that.
Proper move in second, roll call.
Representative Howard, Mr. Lawson,
Yes.
Dr. Morris,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Adopt the minutes.
Make a
Do
motion.
I have a motion?
So move to adopt the minutes.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Representative Howard, Mr. Lawson,
Yes.
Dr. Morris,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Motion carried, passes.
Okay,
I think Mr. Councilman Walker may have joined.
Yes.
Yeah.
good morning, Councilman Walker. And yes,
Not, I think he's still coming on. Yeah.
But you said,
Set up.
I thought I saw.
all right, but let's move on then. Number 4, matters referred from the Board of Directors. We have none. Okay. We would like to go into executive session at this time. Do I have a motion?
Isn't that out of order?
You're on number 5.
Yes. So there, it's part of the contractual stuff we want to talk about in executive session.
You have the same agenda we?
Yeah, not,
Maybe I don't. Maybe I'm operating off of I'm sorry.
that's okay.
Okay.
Got it.
I apologize. I was looking at the old.
The
agenda.
pack is the same, Andy. He had me rearrange the agenda. a little
Gotcha.
bit.
I'm sorry. Sorry about that. I printed it from work.
Okay, do I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
A second.
Sorry. I'll second that. I'll second that.
Okay, the proper move, that we go into executive session, roll call?
Representative Howard, Mr. Lawson,
Yes.
Dr. Morris,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Okay, we are into executive session at this point.
No, hold on.
Dr.
We-
Morris,
Dr. Morris, we gotta
Second.
move some people.
Beg pardon?
we have to move some folks into other rooms.
Yes,
Give me just a
yes.
second.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, large conference room.
Oh. Oh, okay, gotcha.
Okay, that's all. I just wanted to be sure. Is that okay with you? Okay.
Then you want to hit join.
We're just waiting.
Hold on.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Roll call.
Representative Howard, Mr. Lawson, Dr. Morris.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Okay,
Mr.
we
Chair, if I may just note for the record that no action was taken in executive session. I realize how important it is to say that. Coming out of executive.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we are Now at item 6. Discussion and action item. Ms. Andrews?
Good morning, everyone. So this was brought about, not sure how much I'm at liberty to say, but we do, there's, with the multimodal center, initially I was asked to find a little over $4 million, but I can wipe the sweat off my brows now that that price has been decreased down to just 200,000. So I went through, I went back to when we were not so much in trouble, but when Richland County was audited and they asked us and gave us the guidelines of what penny money can't be used by. So that was a bigger problem when I had to get it from the 4 million, but 200,000 is much easier for me to say, yes, we have. So in the last fiscal year, we collected a little over $1 million of passenger fare revenue, which is more than enough to cover the 200 that you're looking for in earnest money for the, I guess, proceeding with the purchase of land for the multimodal center.
Thank you, Ms. Andrews. I think that you still should work on this because although you have indicated that there's 200,000, but we might have to come back to you. And if you take a look at this and if you find that there's 4 million in earnest money, we're not asking to spend it now, but we want to identify it.
Yeah. So in that, yes, I went back a couple of years from the time that DOR did our audit, cut from that point, the money from passenger fare revenues for that year to recent, we have enough to cover the 4 million if need be.
Okay, Mr. Smith and Mr. Lawson, do you have any question on this?
Just, this is a discussion matter, not,
Right.
no action needed.
Right.
We've already taken that action, correct? Board.
Ms. Ransom has a.
I just,
Insurance?
the item that we discussed in executive session also comes out of that same pot. Is that correct? Because I know there's restrictions on.
Yes, there are
Okay,
restrictions.
all right.
Yes, so there are at least 6 restrictions of what we can't spend penny funds from, legal being one of them. So I, again, go and put all the revenue we have back out to things we cannot cover to see if we still have enough.
Okay, and mostly the big ticket item is fare box for that?
Yes, that is basically the only one.
Thank you. Ms. Lawson, do you have a question? Yes.
Yeah, yes. Hey, Roz, I'm just curious. Can you talk about where you found the 200K or 200 plus K?
In my pocket.
Advice support.
Check another pocket. Yeah, I just, the simplest response would be if you look at our audit, well, we hadn't done the one for last fiscal year, but the passenger fare revenue for the past fiscal year was a little over $1 million, so that's where I would get the 200 from, the passenger fare.
Oh, got it. Okay. Okay, but we didn't cut anything. Any projects there were no projects that were cut.
Were there any funds? Are you talking about, did we cut any funds or?
Yeah, like did we cut any projects for that
Oh.
$200,000 that you found?
If I could recommend one, I would, but no, as of now, we have not defunded any other projects to make this 200 work.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Smith. Any more questions? If not, we move on to item 7.
That's me again. Good morning again. So I'd like to call your attention, beginning on page 6. So again, page 6 is the beginning of our fiscal year. Although we're in the month of September, we have to do the in arrears to make sure everything has been posted and accounted for. So the month of July represents 8% of our fiscal year completed. And at the top of there, I gave you what our annual budget for the year is. For this month, we have a net income of just shy of $2 million. Our total revenue, which is money coming in, is $4.12 million. So again, the actual year-to-date would match because we are just starting out. Our expenses are $2.6 million. paid today to the contract operator, RHP Dev, is 54, a little over 54 million. And that's, we made 2 payments in the month of June because that was our fiscal year end, so we were trying to get things cleaned up. Professional contracted services, and those list out the few vendors that you wanted to see what we paid in a little detail for them, and those were asterisks, have the invoices and the details included in this packet. We didn't do any past donations, starting at this fiscal year. Our total pending collections is listed here. As you see down here, we did bill out in August a payment of 8.9 million to Richland County. So if the money keeps coming in, that goes back to say, if it keeps coming in at this rate where we initially thought it would end in 2028, it'll be a little sooner than that. I think, I forget where I was, but Richland County said they were expecting to have collected it all by 2025. So if they are done collecting by 2025, and that stands in my mind that we are to be finished also at 2025. Just wanted to throw that out there. So that is the end of my report. Any questions?
Okay. Any questions?
I've got a brief one. Yes. Just wanted to understand the federal revenue, so 1.7 million of which it looks like 1.55 is for operations.
What page are you on?
So I'm on, yeah, I'm sorry, 7 and 8.
7 and 8.
So the line there that says federal revenue of 1.7 million for the period. And then on page 8 of the federal, of that 1.7, 1.55 is operations. What's the source of that?
That was the drawdown for the percentage that we could take for actual operations for our ATP Dev.
Oh, okay. From
Overall,
which
it's just
federal,
overall operational,
and which federal program is that?
5307. We can get that at 50/50.
And that's, do we expect that monthly? Is that,
No.
okay, I didn't think so. That's what I was a little confused about, because that's our surplus for the month. I mean, is really that.
Yeah.
And I just was wondering, like, if that's something we could expect every month, and we're sitting pretty and.
That was a yearly
Having a different set of
drawdown?
That was, yes, now there will be another chunk for preventive maintenance, but it won't be to that amount.
Is that like the annual allocation? Okay, okay,
We budget a certain amount out of each 5307 allocation typically for operations and preventive maintenance. And that's what it is. You can only do a certain percentage, I believe, but we usually go between 1 and 3 million in operations. But on the other hand, it's 50/50. If we have buses or something else that we need that's a capital expense that we can get it for 85/15, like vehicles, we would recommend you spend it on that instead of operations. So it fluctuates, but that was an existing grant that had operating funds with it for that year.
we could show we could match it 50/50 and we would.
Yeah, because it's reimbursement, so we've already paid it. So we don't draw it down till we paid the bill.
So even though we've already paid it, the match is from, sounds like maybe from a prior year, we get to recognize it in the current year.
So what happened with that? Yeah, this is July, so she did all the billing in June, but the payment came in July. So at the end of the fiscal year, I'll get with her and say, hey, make sure we bill out, because our auditor says the same thing. Bill out everything you can, to clean the books as much as you can. And this payment just came in the month of July.
No, but the auditors are good with that being recognized in fiscal 24 rather than 23. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious, the reason I'm asking the question is because I look at the month and I'm like, wow, we did really well, but all of that surplus is that federal operations money, which may be, it's not recurring, so that answers that question, but it also may be prior
It's from-
year.
Yeah, it's from the previous fiscal year.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Thank you. Mr. Lawson. Mr. Lawson, can you hear us?
Yes, sorry. Hey Ross, question for you. So last year did we I see we budgeted, wait, hold on, what page am I on? I'm on page 13. So the line item, hydrogen fuel, did we actually, I see we have $10,000 budgeted for it. Did we spend, anything on hydrogen fuel last year?
No, the hydrogen fuel are for the buses that are coming in. They are not in
Right.
yet.
Okay, and that was my follow-up question.
I think they come in November,
December.
December, somewhere around December. So yes,
And how many are we getting again?
two electric and two hydrogen.
Okay, all right, thank you. That's all I had.
Okay, any more questions? Thank you, Ms. Andrews.
You're welcome.
We're moving on to item 8. Dr. Prince.
Okay, good morning.
Go ahead.
The DBE report is found on pages 34 to 37 of the finance packet. And just want to share that on pages 34 and 35, it's just a summary and a quick snapshot of the vendors with DBE goals that are paid by the comment. And as we look at this information, and this is as of July 31st, approximately $60.2 million were paid to vendors with DBE goals, and of this amount, DBEs received approximately $15.6 million, of which calculates to about 25.8%. You know, pages 36 through 37, this is information relevant to our contractor, RATP Dale, and their payments to DBEs. And page 36 reflects the data from the start of the contract, which was July 1st of 2020, and it goes up through July 2023. The DBE cumulative goal reflects $12.5 million that were paid to DBEs, and this reflects approximately 22.9%. And on page 37, it's just the capture information from the current fiscal year, which started July 1st, 2022, and this is for tracking purposes only. This is the DBE update. Is there a question?
Mr. Lawson. Can you hear us, Mr. Lawson?
Didn't take his hand out
Oh,
from last
no.
time.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Prince. I would like to thank all staff members for your contribution. You're doing a super job and we really appreciate it. Okay, moving on to the next item. I think it's item to adjourn. Number 9, comments, announcement, new motion. Any comments? Any announcement? No new motions? We're moving to item 10. Do I have a motion?
Make motion to adjourn.
I'll second it. Proper move and second that we adjourn. Roll call.
Representative Howard, Mr. Lawson,
Yes.
Dr. Morris,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Okay, let me thank again the staff and particularly the committee members. Really would like to thank you for sharing. I know it's gonna be a long day for all of us, but we don't mind. Thank you.